listening to the Marriage Clinic podcast, a podcast on love, marriage, and personal development. Our purpose is to inspire and equip you with knowledge and skills to enable you to have lasting and fulfilling relationships. Now your host, Joshua Mogri.
My name is Dr. Joshua Mogri, and I am always glad to be here with you. I love it when you call me Uncle Josh. I prefer to be called your African Uncle Josh. And we've been having a lovely series around the issue of, or answering the question of, can a man be faithful to one wife? Can a man be faithful to one wife? So if you're listening to this right now on whichever platform you're on, please do like, leave a comment, and please do share it with a friend. Please do share it with a friend. Because when you do share this with friends, we are able to get this to more people out there, and more people get to view this, listen to this, and we reach more people. So we really do need you, and we need your help in getting the message out there. So I did a 3-part series on how a man can remain faithful to one woman. How a man can remain faithful to one woman. And today I'm flipping the script on our women or wives, and I'm talking about how a wife can help her husband stay faithful. I'm going to give you 10 things a wife can do that will help her husband stay faithful. 10 things a wife can do that will help her husband stay faithful. So number 1, the first way a wife can help her husband stay faithful is very simple. Marry a man who values monogamy. Marry a man who values monogamy. You can't bake a cake with, well, some will say a yam cake. You can't bake a cake with yam. You can't have a carrot cake without carrots. You can't have banku and okra stew without okra. You can't have a man who is faithful if he does not value being faithful. So and not just what comes out of his mouth, what he shows, what he thinks, what his friends believe. If all those people around him believe that you cannot be faithful to one woman, most likely he's going to act it out. So if you value monogamy, look for a man who believes that a man should be able to stay with one woman. That's number 1. Number 2, you also need to recognize, you need to recognize that you can't help your man if he sees nothing wrong with cheating. You can't help your man to be faithful if he sees nothing wrong with cheating. Because number 1, I said marry a man who values monogamy. Number 2, recognize that you can't help your man if he sees nothing wrong with cheating. I've counseled couples where before marriage, the man didn't want to cheat. He didn't believe cheating was right. And then after marriage, due to certain circumstances, now his mind has shifted. No matter what you put in place to help him, you can do all the other things I'm going to talk about. You can do all the other 8 things I'm going to talk about. But if he hasn't decided that there is something wrong with cheating, there is no headway in what you're doing. So if your husband believes that cheating is okay, I just shouldn't get caught, you need to then develop coping mechanisms because you are dealing with a man who doesn't believe in monogamy. So let me put these 2 things out there before I talk about the things you can do to help a man remain faithful. The first thing I've put out there is quite simple. What I have said is this: make sure you marry a man who values monogamy. The second thing I'm putting out there is recognize that you can't help your man if he sees nothing wrong with cheating. Brings me to number 3. So now I'm coming to the things that you can do that are within the sphere of your influence that you can do to help the man. I personally believe that when it comes to cheating, it's about 80% the responsibility of the man and probably 20% or less the responsibility of the wife. In this case, I'm talking about husband and wife. I'm not talking about premarital relationships. If it's a premarital relationships, hey, I don't have help for you out there. If you're like, Uncle Josh, my boyfriend is always cheating on me, what can I do? I don't have help for you. Leave him. But in marriage, where you said for better, for worse, brings me to number 3. Treat him like the king of the home, show him the respect he deserves. A woman's greatest need is to be loved and cared for. A man's greatest need is to be respected. A man can stand it when his wife doesn't really love him, but he can't stand it when his wife does not respect him. A man cheating out there with a lady knows that the lady does not love him, but he knows that because of what he's bringing to the table, at least she respects the money he's bringing. And she will not talk to him some way because she knows that he is paying one way or another. So what you need to realize is that one of the things that pushes a man to look outside or feel disrespected in the home is when you do not respect him. In the way you talk, in the way you refer to him, in the way you plan your life around him. Until you can show a man respect, chances are he will look for respect elsewhere. So please, I don't know how. I wish I could get a plane that pulls this thing across the skies to remind women a man needs respect and he needs to feel respected in his home. Until you do that for him, you are going to have problems with him being committed to you. So number 3, treat him as the king of the home. Show him the respect he deserves. Brings me to number 4. Help him manage his stress. I was reading an article about men who wanted to be faithful. In fact, it was talking about pastors who had fallen into moral error. They had cheated on their wives. And they found out that most of the time, pastors cheat on their wives because pastors are supposed to be those who uphold their vows. Pastors cheat on their wives after they have finished a major building project for the church, when the church is going through major financial difficulties, or after they have gone to organize crusades or major events. How come does that happen then? After a man has given his all and he is stressed, his guard is not as up as it would be, and chances that he could have a moral failing or cheat with someone around him are high when a man is stressed. When a man is stressed in his job, when a man is stressed in other areas of his life, sometimes it is a wrong thing, but he seeks an outlet by trying to be with somebody who tickles his fancy. So as a wife, you need to keep in mind that if I help my husband to manage his stress, I am helping him to manage the home. I'm helping him to manage the marriage. I'm helping him to manage himself. So helping him to manage his stress keeps him away from cheating. Now, all of these are not foolproof. As I said, the burden of remaining faithful to one woman is 80+% on the man and 20% or less on the woman, according to Dr. Joshua Mowgre's research. All right. So number 4, help him manage his stress, which brings me to number 5. Know his sex cycles and understand his needs. You see, studies have proven, and if you observe your man, you will know most men go through cycles of wanting sex. Yes, we do go through cycles of wanting sex. Some men want to have sex once a week. Others want to have sex every other day. Others want to have sex every 3 days. Some can go for 2 weeks. But know when these urges come up and try to make sure you have met these needs before they become a desperate need. Because if you really look at men who cheat, it's not always about who the person was. Sometimes they just wanted to have their sexual needs met. Remember, when a woman cheats, most often it is because of emotions. When a man cheats, most often it's just because of physical attraction and wanting to have sex. So if you do know the cycles, and you should observe and you should ask. Next time your husband is feeling frisky, write down the date. And wait till he's acting frisky again, write down the date. Note the number of days in between. Wait a while when he's feeling frisky again. After you've written down dates and times for about 10 episodes of sex, you gradually begin to realize, okay, it's like every 3 days, or it's every 4 days, or it's every 5 days. And then you can know what he needs. This is the Marriage Clinic podcast, a podcast about love, marriage, and your personal development. I have been talking generally to women today, and I've been talking to them about how they can help their husbands remain faithful. As I said, I'm not talking about boyfriends and girlfriends or people who are engaged. This is not for premarital. This is for postmarital. If you're wondering how you're going to help your boyfriend become faithful and not cheat, my sister, Uncle Josh cannot help you here. I can buy ice cream for you. I can't help you here. This is about husbands and wife, and I have given you the first 5. Next week, we will be back, and I'll give you the last 5 or the final 5 things a woman can do to help her husband remain faithful. But let's remember this very clearly. The major burden of being faithful is on the shoulders of the man. The major burden of being faithful is on the shoulders of the man and not on his wife. As I said, a woman can contribute probably 20%, and a man has to contribute 80+%. So it's been great talking to you. I trust you've enjoyed this. Please share it with your friends. We'll be back with Ask Uncle Josh. Take good care of yourselves, and bye-bye. Okay, so this question has come in. Why do most women prefer bad guys to good guys? It reminds me of a song by Method Man and Redman and Method Man. Why do good girls like bad boys? I think it was Red and Meth. I'm not too sure. But in Twi, which is a Ghanaian language, we say Mmape and Kwasiafo. Are ladies normally attracted to bad guys? Yes. The data does show that girls are more attracted to bad boys than good boys. And for several reasons. I think one of the first reasons is that most bad boys are extroverted. That is, they're loud, they talk, and women fall in love through their ears, not through their minds. So when I say through their ears, what you constantly tell a lady gradually works its way into her heart. And because bad boys are good at talking, they end up being able to convince even good girls that they are the best thing that happens since sliced bread. Additionally, what also happens is that most bad boys, especially when they are teenagers, have a lot of confidence. And it takes confidence to win a woman over. So because of their confidence that they may have had from alcohol or weed or just having their way all the time, they are able to approach girls when a good boy rather will want to go slowly and do you have a book I can borrow, or can I share this with you, and come in a dull way. The last thing I'll say is that a lot of the time the bad boys offer more excitement. There's more excitement they bring into the ladies' life. So a lot of ladies tend to lean towards the bad boys. In the end, it doesn't work out well for them. But the truth is that, yes, these are the reasons why. So if you're a good guy and you've met a lady and a bad guy is trying to take your good girl, you should up your game. You should be a bit more confident. You should be a bit more forthright, and you should understand what it takes to win a woman. You can look for my book, Secrets to Love and Getting Married. I do talk about how to engage a lady and propose to a lady and make sure it works. So you can get that, and that will help you. So it's a great question. Yes, a lot of the time, women prefer the bad guys to the good guys. That's why they say good guys come last. But hey, that's the truth.